Welcome, I'm Ike. This is Draw Process. I draw comic book pages and share my thoughts and techniques along the way. Drawing page 27 of episode 2 of my comic book, First Sun and Sword. You can read it on my website or on cleverkaiju.com, and you'll see me draw the page here in this video. Okay, so in episode 1, it's issue 1, but it's sort of a web comic, so that's one of the reasons I call it episode 1. Also because they're very long. They're long issues, like 60 or more pages, maybe double that. Anyways, I call it episodes, and this is episode 2. In the first one, Crocodile City, and you can read that on my website or get a book, purchase a book on the website or on cleverkaiju.com. But in the first one, King Croc is this large crocodile lizard man, and he is the villain, the opponent that they're going to battle in the first episode. This time it's Croc the Man-Eater, and he will be a recurring, more important lizard man figure to the story. So Croc here, it's the first time that we've seen his full form, so I wanted to make sure to capture head to toe full figure and really show a reveal. I rarely do really large panels, taking the time to show you something so much so. But when it is a larger than life lizard man, that is something you've never seen before, it seems appropriate to make it large and really let that show. And when you notice flipping through a comic book, especially, a trade paperback, a larger book, you might happen to stop on this page and you might thumb through and land on it and think, wow, that looks cool. So taking a moment every now and then to have a big image, a big exciting image, can break up the monotony of the sequential panels that I squeeze into every page, and be appealing and attractive to the reader. Again, it's an important moment, it's a big moment, and we're going to capture it here. You'll notice I have a simple background. This is the palace. It's already been established, the rough dimensions of this room. I'm going with a pretty low camera, looking up at Croc so that he looks larger than life in the space, because the palace is very large with a tall ceiling. If I do a different angle, that might not give you that effect. The palace is a very bright space. There's not a lot of shadow in the room. It's marble, it's stone, it's reflective. So not a lot of shadows that I can realistically place into the backgrounds, which pushes me a bit outside of my comfort zone to rely on lines that might convey texture and colors, just applying color to areas to guide the eye rather than solid blacks. We have in the first panel Croc standing there on the rock we saw him on in the first page and second page of the book. We saw him, but only he was somewhat hidden. He was his back was to us. It wasn't a great shot. This is the big reveal. So we have him standing there in this first panel. In the second panel, he's charging towards the camera, kind of breaking that boundary now of the panel. So I did mark the outer edge of the panel borders, but I wasn't sure when I started drawing, but I decided to let the art go all the way, full bleed, fully to the edges of the paper in both panels. I also went with a slight angle, slight diagonal to the gutter, the the border between the top panel and the bottom panel here is at an angle a bit. It adds even more energy. Again, that's something I don't do very often, but it's growing on me. And I think that's from influence from manga. Is likely part of that. As I constructed his form, I noticed, I was being careful with these pencils, using a lighter pencil first and then going over it with the thicker one. I was being more careful because I've never drawn him before and I'm not quite sure how he should look. Trying to work it out on the page. Exactly how long are his arms, what are his proportions. Decided to give him a more flat rib cage, a flat chest, but still very wide, a very powerful back, but just built on a more squished rib cage, like a lizard, maybe a crocodile would have. And working out the light source is to his right. There's an opening in the ceiling there, but I'm applying shadow simply at a kind of 3/4 angle down, slightly from the front. I'm just applying the shadow so that it adds dramatic depth. It's kind of Rembrandt lighting. Or shadows. That's a general go-to for me and for a lot of artists, so that you get a nice shadow on the figure, but not too much shadow. And so working that out there. A fun page, a nice midpoint to the book, really, where things are heating up, things are changing now. It's all coming to a head at the same time. Sun and Sword have the men breaking into the home they're staying in. Farah might be returning to them or going to the black market to purchase the medicine, and she's got men after her that are from Pompidou, the mobster. His men, his posse's going to come and try to get her too. So all of this is happening at once, high energy, high action, each one kind of spilling over into the other so that we can bring our three main characters, our three heroes, together to the climax, I guess you could say. And I made that choice by feel. I don't follow a strict structure to my stories, going mostly by feel. And of course, I write it ahead of time, but then as I'm drawing it, 1, maybe 2 pages a week, as I'm drawing it, it takes me a while to get through the story, so I have a lot of time to sit with it and make changes as I go. And there were a few adjustments. I tinkered with this part of the story to try to make it even more so that they all come to a head at the same time. When it comes to the writing, I had a sense of, the feel of the first issue, the first episode, the feel of the story. I established it to a degree with the very first 10 pages, I think it was, where they encounter a bug out in the sand dunes, and a giant bug they battle. And it became pretty clear from the start, there's drama, there's a little tension, character-oriented story. They're going to be on the run, they're going to be in conflict with each other. But it's a lot of action, it's a lot of fun. And that again is by feel. I'm trying to go off of what feels right for this story, both visually when I hold the book in my hand, and I imagine holding this next book and the next one, when I read my last story, and I'm getting a feel for what this is, and I try to keep in tune to that, match that tone, but push it at the same time. I'm trying to, push it forward, let it change a bit. It's really a unique experience to go through that dance with it. And again, over a long period of time, I adjust the story over the course of even a year, trying to complete one episode, and then I'll continue to do that. So lots of time to feel it out and adjust. I had considered, how much do I want to show complex social situations, culture, society, and economies, and like abuse, the abusive people, or slavery or something. Like, how much do I want to show, and how, political, you could say, do I want to get? How real do I want to get? How dark is a big question. So I figure that out as I go. Sometimes I have an idea that maybe is a little too serious, and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't go that route. That doesn't feel right for this story. And then I go a different direction. Sometimes I get a little lost, a little confused, just not sure where I should go. And usually when that happens, I'm forgetting the fun part of the story. When I look back, all the action and fun, and I'm like, oh, that's what's missing. That's why I'm feeling, kind of stuck, or in the, droning on, or kind of like confused where to go. There's not enough fun. Up the action, up the fun. So that's how it is for me, and I've done it different ways before. I've done things in different ways over time. It's a big risk doing this. I don't know, because I don't write, I haven't written 10 episodes of this story, and just planned it all out. And if I did, even then, I wouldn't be sure if it's, good enough, if it's what I'm going to want to stick with in the end, if I'll really not change it. So, I don't know. I keep going. I don't want this to just be a pet project. Just like, I don't want this comic to simply be my excuse to draw pages. Like I just needed something to draw. I want to tell a good story. I enjoy telling stories. So it matters to me that the story is good, and that I put enough work in on that, that it's good. But gotta find my way to do it. And that's what I'm trying to do. It just feels more right to let it kind of flow. When it comes to like my practice of drawing a page every week, trying to keep things always in a creative, not fully formed place, letting things form and develop as I go to keep me engaged. This is just what feels right. I'm sure it will change. It would change if I was drawing 3 pages a week, 5 pages a week. Or if there were other reasons that I needed to submit a more complete script, or some rough pages to be reviewed by an editor or something. But that is not the situation I'm in right now. So I let this become the most, pure and strong, version of what it's going to be. I was on vacation last week, so we missed 1 week of these videos, and that was really nice time. Just everything in life put on pause. I was staying with family in Oregon. I didn't have my own vehicle. I couldn't do anything that I want to do. I didn't even choose the schedule of what we're doing. So to really put my life on pause and just be with family, just be present and try to enjoy whatever's on the itinerary. And I was able to. It was good. But it was a big pause, even though it's only 1 week, 9 days. But for me, it was a big pause. I haven't stopped, I haven't taken a week off work in years. So, and a week off comics and a week off this stuff. So that I'm still figuring out what that has done to me. I definitely feel different. Getting my head up out of the trenches, thinking what's really important. What do I really want to be doing? How do I really want to draw in a way that, feels, more fun, more energetic, more exciting, more in the flow. So yeah, and other things too. What do I want to do with the community that I'm a part of? And I don't know yet what it will become, but I know something's changed by taking that pause. And I'm excited to see what it is. I'm just sort of not sure yet. I'm sure I can share that here as it develops. Right now, I feel pretty empty. Again, I don't know what's changed in me after the break. I haven't drawn a page this week, even the first week back from vacation. I've been busy with good things, but didn't have the time to draw a comic book page, even on the first week back. And today's Saturday. I'm getting the video done just before the video posts, but had a family float trip today, going down the river, rafting. It was very nice, but I'm pretty drained at this point. I'm feeling kind of empty, even, tired and sore and physically empty. So I'm in a position to see what fills me up, getting empty and then seeing what can fill that, what fills the space. So that's a creative place to be in, I find. It's a good place to be in, I think. I mean, I can just comment on that a little bit. To be, to take a break, to be a little, empty is the word I was using, but how else could I describe that? Reaching the end of your efforts. I don't know, feeling like a long break that results in sort of the end of a season, the starting of a new one, but it hasn't started yet. Like you almost ready to plan, sort of like, you're about to need to figure out and organize and plan a new semester, a new season, new life, maybe moving or something, but it's not quite time to figure it out yet. Like you just need to chill a little longer. That's sort of the feeling. Yeah, and it's, I guess you could call it a kind of discomfort, a kind of feeling a little disappointed, or that's not the right word, not caring, you're sort of not being proud of yourself, like your accomplishments seem like not much from this distance. from the distance that comes with the pause, the vacation or something. At this distance, everything I thought was important isn't as important as I thought. And my accomplishments aren't as important as I thought. And what I do isn't so important. So what is there to do? What would be important? I will figure it out. I'm in the process of figuring it out, but I'm just before that in this cycle, in this phase that I'm in. I'm just before that phase where I figure some things out. It's not a bad place to be. It could be, it could be the start of a depression or a manic episode or something. It could be the start of, giving up, quitting, changing projects, or something like that. But some of that is unnecessary. I mean, some of the damage that would be done is from resisting the change, resisting the pause, resisting what it might mean, for things to change. If I'm just open to it, let's see what change comes. It's okay if it changes. I don't need to cling to the way things were. It sounds a little more serious than I mean it when I put it that way, because I know that I'm going to continue drawing this comic. I'm going to continue this video series, and I'm definitely going to keep making comics. I'm not going to quit. But how I'm doing it, it could change. I'm open to that possibility. And this is a minor, moment for me, a minor, change. This is nothing super serious. It was a vacation. It's not that big a deal. But I'm just describing the sort of feeling, the sort of phase that I'm in. I've had, much bigger ones than this before that changed things for me much more drastically. But yeah, it's not that serious this time. But it's of a similar nature. And those are powerful moments. Those are powerful positions to be in. Like a little bit of dangers in it, but it's useful. I'm gonna find some new ideas and creative, energy. So I'm just ready to see how that plays out, and just want to stay in the somewhat uncomfortable state that I'm in, because it has a lot of energy. It has a lot of tension and power in it, and see what comes. As I'm trying to figure out what are these changes, what are these things I should be doing. One thing I'm thinking, and I started trying to do, is to draw every day a small piece of anatomy, not like an entire leg, but maybe just the knee, for example. And that's what I started with, was knees. And I'm drawing the anatomy, the structure, and different variations of it, and in different positions and angles, and just doing that for like an entire week, a little bit every day, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, just on that one thing. It's something that I can do even on days that I can't draw very much, but I'm going to walk away with a very solid knowledge on that one thing, and just move from one thing to another until, over time I will have done the whole human form. I'm not sure if I want to do this for sure or stick with it, but right now this is good. I've been working on anatomy, but I've been working on it on a bigger scale. The entire leg, the entire figure, and that involved, a look at the individual anatomy, but it's not the same as just after, doing everything globally, saying, okay, I'm just going to look at this one thing now. I'm just really going to pay attention to the one thing and then the next thing. So that is a way that I'm embracing that I'm not going to have that much time on a daily basis to draw, but I want to do something productive that is not, hugely productive. It's not much of an accomplishment, but it will stack. Even though it's just a little, it'll stack each day, each week. And a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it will pay off. It will start to become very obvious that I put in a lot of work. So that's one of the things that I'm realizing, one of the approaches that's a little different that I'm trying. We'll see what else. And here I am in the book, approaching a very exciting part of the book. And I think that's going to be interesting because I'm not, I'm kind of in this empty spot where I don't feel excited about it per se. I'm not in it. I don't identify with it as my thing. It's just that thing over there. But that'll be interesting to see how I get into it. And we've reached a halfway point in the year. I think that's weighing on me too, that we're halfway through the year. And I didn't get as many pages done as I wanted to, but I've done my minimum of 1 page a week. So I think that's part of it, is I know that I'm hitting this kind of mid-year crisis, reassessing things. Also, summer. Life has changed. My kids are home for summer, sort of, and summer school, and there's always different things going on that I'm taking them to. So lots of transitions in my home have thrown off my routines and schedule, and that's okay too, because just like the vacation I went on, these pauses can be very useful, give a lot of perspective, and introduce new DNA, new possibilities for what my practice can be. And that's it for this week. There's the full finished page. I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me once again. Even though I don't think I had much to say today, I do what I can to share my journey, my experience, and speak honestly and openly about it, and encourage you to do your practice and pursue that. See you next week.